What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we are talking about a little bit different things today. We're not going to talk about crypto per se. Yes and no. We're talking about the ETF that just got denied for Bitcoin and what that means. Mr. Chocolate Cookie, you actually asked what my thoughts were on that, or like what that could mean. And then tied into that, there's another question that came up that was about like news and trading and stuff like that. And I think we can tie all this together, right? So before we get into the charts, I want to look up here. I typed in how long after approval do ETFs become available? Because again, ETFs at first, someone has to like draw it up, right? They have to make sure that it's all like prepared, and then they submit it, right? And the SEC has up to 240 days to approve or deny it. But they have to make a decision within that amount of time. The first gold ETF that was ever, that's why I have the gold chart brought up. The first gold ETF that was ever brought up by the SEC was in November of 2004 on the 18th of November. And that is exactly where I have this yellow line, okay? And I want to go over something. Now you can see, right, if we're looking at it, this ETF was promoted, and this was anything but the end for gold. It kept going up from there, right? And that's the thing for me. The reason I was trying to look up how long after approval do ETFs become available is because it became available November 18th, 2004, but when was it approved? Was it approved the 18th? Was it approved the 7th? And I wanted to know that. And I'm sure, and I was trying to look up too, I couldn't find it, but when it was first submitted for application, I couldn't find that either. Maybe I'm just bad at looking things up. Maybe someone in the comments could enlighten us, but it definitely got, if it got approved in 2004, November 18, it definitely got submitted within 240 days before that, prior to that. So on this chart here, I took a little 7 monthly candle, because if I went to 8, that's more than 240 days, just barely. So from here to here, within this green little bar here, I know that it looks so insignificant, but maybe if we go on the weekly, we can pull it up better. Let's see. Yeah, so sometime within here to here, this ETF was likely proposed, right? It was likely proposed. And maybe I would go as far as expecting even that it probably got proposed after this bottom. Who knows? But more or less, regardless if it did before this bottom, if it got to this top here, most of what's going on in this range is upside action, right? So the ETF, again, the whole purpose of this, the ETF was made public in November 18th of 2004. Okay, it was made public on this, I guess it was made public technically this week here. This is when it was made public, was this week here. Before that, you had all this hype about the ETF going, being approved or not, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it got approved here, and that sent things to maybe it got approved the same week that it got released. I don't know. That's why I was trying to figure that out. But you can see that we had a clear uptrend before. And then, that was a solid, let's see, from bottom to top, really, that was 28 weeks of just upside. More or less, you went up and down, but like for gold, you went up 28 weeks basically. And then after the ETF got listed, not but 3 weeks later did you start to go down. And not only did you go down, but you remained stagnant for quite a period of time. You actually remained stagnant. You didn't break this top until all the way back over here, 40 bars later, 40 weeks later, right? What took you from low to high to form was 29 bars, almost 30 weeks. It took you about 30% longer before you broke out of this range and proceeded to new highs. So what my thoughts are on the Bitcoin ETF getting denied, rejected, whatever, is good. Good, man. I mean, it's not good ultimately, I guess it'd be nice to have an ETF for Bitcoin so that you have players like big financial institutions who can get into Bitcoin without actually physically owning it. They can just buy into the trust itself. More on-ramps for crypto is anything but bad. But kind of like when a new exchange lists something, right? If you have a coin, Pepe is a perfect example, man. Let's go, we'll go right now. I'll come back to the gold chart, but Pepe USD, we'll go to Poloniex here. Where is it? Where are you, Poloniex? Right here. Pepe USD on Poloniex. Looking at it here, go to the daily because we're going to get this exact day. This day was the top. Friday the 5th of May 2023. Okay, that was the top day for Pepe. Guess what else that was the day for? I said Pepe. Pepe USDT. Guess what else that was the day for? That was the day that Binance, the biggest crypto exchange in all of crypto, listed Pepe. That sounds bullish, right? Like if the biggest exchange is listing you, that's bullish, right? But what day did it start going down? The day, Friday, May 5th of 2023, that was the day that it topped. The day that it got listed on Binance. And you can see it because there's no data before this on the Binance chart. This was the first day it got listed. It's no surprise that that was also the day that it topped. What happened before then? It went up dramatically. And why did it go up dramatically? Because the exchange, Binance, needed to buy Pepe to sell it to its clients. Whenever it lists Pepe on Binance, it's now selling to the clients. And that's why you get all this immense selling, because there's no more buying going on. The only people that are buying it are the people on the exchange. But if you're buying from an exchange, the exchange technically owns it. So like the real buyers, you're buying from them, but they're still holding it. Like, you know what I mean? So like what's really going on is they're selling it to you. And that's why you can see that. You know, it's no coincidence that the biggest exchange in crypto, the day it gets listed, that was the top. It's no coincidence at all. And again, on a side note, being listed on the biggest exchange in crypto, that's probably a good thing in the long run. That's probably, you'd want that. If you were any crypto, if you're any company out there making a coin, you'd want that. But inevitably, it's going to be bad as soon as you get that release date. It is. And it's, you know, again, it's no coincidence. It's no coincidence that on gold here, where are we? I'm way off. Let's see. On gold here, that within the month, within 2 weeks, 3 weeks afterwards of listing this ETF, that we actually went from having a nice phase up to a very, very stagnant and even kind of like downward looking phase for 40 weeks. We were stagnant. You know, we went down, we went up, we went down, we went up. We didn't really do anything exciting. It halted the growth. And then inevitably you had this fantastic growth, which did again come after the ETF, but it came after a while. And you can go through and look at any ETFs, and the reason, again, think about this, right? If you have the Spider Gold Trust, it's an ETF backed in gold. That means that they have to own like physical. They're owning gold. That's the whole point of the trust. Is they own the gold. You own shares in the trust. Your value comes from the value that they hold in physical assets or whatever, you know. So what are they going to do before they list the ETF to the public? What are they going to do? They're going to buy a shit ton of gold. And what's that going to do to gold? That's going to bring the prices. But then when it gets listed, what's it going to do? You know, maybe you had a little bit of hype still. Everyone was so excited. So yeah, you went up a little bit for the next 2 weeks. But then you had the biggest down candle that you've seen really since, I mean, I guess July, like in over half a year. I guess half a year. Let's see. Would that be July? Where would it be? Right here. July. I guess about half a year. Yeah. About half a year. You know, you saw out of all this is actually a bigger candle, red candle than that. It's like one of the biggest red candles you've seen since April, to be fair, but of 2004 again. And then you got more big red candles. And again, this all happened relatively right after the ETF got released, because they're no longer buying gold for their trust. They're no longer buying the hard physical assets. They have it. It's available to you now. And what are they going to do with it? They're going to sell it to you. Because why? Because you're excited to buy it. It's a brand new thing. It's the ETF. And I think this is where we transition into the idea of news and how to kind of like, if you're a trader, how to go about news. And I'm going to blow my face up, guys. We're going to get real personal here. So, because we're not talking about the charts anymore. This is all like philosophical. This is an opinion. I mean, it's all opinions anyways, but charts have facts in them. This is just an opinion. And I'm not the only person with this opinion. There are many. I got this opinion from people that I look up to, that I admire, that I consider smarter than me, you know. And I'm not that that's saying much, you know, but what I'm trying to say, guys, is there's a saying in the chart world, in the technical analysis world, and that saying goes something like this: show me the charts and I will tell you the news. Right? Show me the charts, I will tell you the news. That's kind of the thing that they say, and that's because, you know, any trader, any person who's been in this for enough time knows that if you pay attention to the news, you're going to get wrecked. You're going to get wrecked, because what's the point of the news? What's the point of any story, any gotcha, whatever, right? It's to get people excited. I said we're done with the charts, but we're going to go back to it. It's to get people excited, right? And then once the news happens, it dumps on them, right? And it is exciting. It is a good thing. But do you think it's better to buy once the ETF is released? Or do you think it's better to buy gold or whatever asset it might be before the ETF is even proposed? When the guys, the billionaires, the big boys are getting their papers written and drawn up by their lawyers before the public even knows about it, right? And again, the public doesn't know about it, but the people who are drawing up these ETFs, they know about it, right? They know about it long before any news story comes out. They know about it way before in advance, right? Because this is the cycle of events that happens. Someone has an idea to do something, right? Then what they do is they get a group together to help them form that idea, right? People hear things and, okay, this idea is going to come into fruition. All those people who have this idea, who think it's going to happen, they're probably heavily invested in gold, and they're probably going to invest more because they know what that's going to do to the price, right? They tell their friends, they tell their family, they tell the nice lady at the donut shop that, instead of a tip, or maybe they tip them, but they're also like, you know what, you should buy some gold. Just trust me on this. That they're going to tell a lot of people that are personal to them before it ever makes it to the headlines, right? And by the time it makes it to the headlines, you've got the reporter who knows about it. You've got his boss who knows about it, who brings it to the reporter to write a story. Do you think that they've done the same thing, told their friends, their family, people that matter to them what is going to happen? You think that they're going to give them the inside scoop? Yes, it's illegal to do inside trading, but we're all human beings. Do you think that people aren't going to take advantage of the information that's given to them? You know what I mean? And I don't know if that's technically insider trading or not, but I mean, to a point it is. By the time you read the story, the whole point, by the time you read the story, it's already old news. It's already old news. And that's why anytime you base your analysis, your TA, your expectations of price, that's why if you base it off of news, 90% of the time it's going to be misleading. And that's because it's meant to be misleading. It is meant to be misleading. The people who promote the story that, hey, an ETF's coming out, they want to promote that story. Why do they want that? Why would they want to promote the story? Do they want you to be aware, you, the general public, the masses, do they want you to get in on this golden goose with them and ride the ship and everybody gets rich? Hell no. Hell no, they don't. They want you, the unsuspecting victim, to buy their bags high, and then they'll dump on you. You'll sell your bags low to, guess what, the people that sold it to you up high. You'll sell them down here. They'll buy it back up, and they'll catch the real rally. You know what I mean? I'm saying down here. You guys are still seeing my face, but regardless, you can understand what I'm saying. It's what I'm trying to say is, if you base your technical analysis off the news, it's totally different things. Fundamentals and technicals, they are different things. And while fundamentally it is valuable that an ETF comes into play, think about what that means. Again, it's bullish in the long term. It's a bullish thing having more on-ramps, especially for big financial players. It's a bullish thing. But anytime that some kind of new on-ramp is engaged, is open, it becomes available to the public, they've been preparing for this months in advance, years sometimes even. Who knows how long. They've been preparing for it for a while. They buy low. They keep it hush-hush so nobody gets excited so that they can buy it quick. Whenever everybody knows about it, whenever it's excited, it's going through that mania. Do you think they're buying it there, or do you think they're selling it there? They're selling it there. By the time you hear that, I don't know, XYZ, whatever billionaire, choose your pick, decides to announce that they are selling their stock in something or buying their stock in something, do you think that they started doing that today, or do you think they started doing that months ago, or even, like I said, even years ago? Because again, the person, let's use like Warren Buffett for example. Like the person that, if Warren Buffett was to say, I'm going to buy this stock, do you think he's waiting until that article gets put out to buy that stock? Do you think he's waiting before he tells somebody who tells a buddy who gets him in line with like an interview or anything to like get all this like written down? Do you think he's waiting for that to buy it? No, he's buying it well before. And then you see the pump happen as the news comes out, right? It's all bullish, but by the time the news actually comes out, it's like at the end, it's at the peak of the rally. And that's a perfect time for the news to get in, because when it's at the peak of the rally, you're verified in what you're saying, right? You're saying like this thing's going to do great things, and hey, look at what it's been doing. It's done great things, and it even can likely in the future. Oops, let's see. It can do good things. Again, it didn't. It's not like gold went to zero after the ETF listed. It dropped, sure, and it went stagnant for 40 weeks. That's a full-term pregnancy right there. It went straight up sideways, and then it gave birth to this beautiful bull rally, right? It definitely did. So after the ETF, was the ETF bullish? I think we can say yes, it was. Immediately though, no, it wasn't, and that should be obvious. And that's what I'm getting to is if we're looking now at Bitcoin, BTC USD, go to Coinbase here, and we're looking at this for what it is, what it might be, whatever, I don't know. If this is the beginning of the bull market, do we want an ETF to come out now, or would it make more sense for it to come out toward the end of the bull market? I think it'd make more sense for it to come out at the end. And an ETF being promoted, being proposed, it's always bullish, man. It's always, anytime it's happened in Bitcoin's history, it always like sends the price up one way or another. And I've seen ETFs that get proposed and it doesn't send the price up immediately, but within the month the price goes up, whatever. And I've seen ETFs get denied time and time again, and price doesn't care. Price really doesn't care. So at the end of the day, I think the fact that the ETF for BlackRock or whatever constituent is BlackRock is supporting that proposed this ETF with the SEC for Bitcoin, I don't think it matters. I really don't think it matters. And I think as an investor, as someone who's in it for the long term, it matters. Fundamentals matter. But as a trader, as a technical analyst, you don't care about the news. Because if you care about the news, watch it, man. If anybody wants to get into TA right now, do your TA. Do your TA and then go look at the news and tell me if it doesn't throw you for a spin every single time, man. Because that's what it's supposed to do. What you're going to hear on the news is not what's actually going on. They want you to hear it. They promote these stories because they want you to hear it. Why do they want that? Do they want to help you, or do they want to help themselves? I feel like it's a very clean and cut answer, So I really don't weigh heavy into the news. I like to read it to be aware of what's going on. Sure, I like to be in the know for things in crypto, but I do not base my decisions off of that. I really don't. The only thing as far as like media goes that I base my decisions off of is like, is everybody bullish or is everybody bearish? Because if everybody's bullish, that might make me bearish. If everybody's bearish, that might make me bullish. You know what I mean? And that's not always true either. This rally here, let's see. I'm pretty sure everybody was bearish on this part right here, or maybe I don't remember. Maybe I don't know. Regardless what I'm trying to say, there have been parts in Bitcoin's history where everybody was bullish and it continued to go up. There have been parts of Bitcoin's history where everybody or the majority were bearish and it continued to go down. It's totally possible. And in crypto, there are a lot of traders. There are a lot of people that do technical analysis. They flock to it because if you're doing technical analysis, you're looking for what's going to make you the most money in the quickest amount of time and be like secure to some degree, right? That's crypto, man. That is crypto. So it makes sense that if you have the majority of people thinking it's going to go down and you have experienced traders trading it, that the majority of people in crypto, they can be right at the same time as the price. They don't have to be wrong. But again, that's not always. In fact, I would say most of the time, the majority, even in crypto, the majority is wrong. But again, that doesn't mean that you can't have most of the people in crypto be bullish while we're going up. It has happened before. It'll happen again. And I would think that right now, we're at a pretty 50-50 with crypto. I think there's a lot of people who are bearish and there's a lot of people who are bullish. I think it's a fine mix. But the more educated minds that I follow on YouTube personally or on Twitter, they all seem to be bullish, and I'm definitely bullish in the long term of it all, But short term, a little bit bearish, sure. But again, I'm getting sidetracked here from what this was supposed to be. It's just basically the whole kind of dynamic of this ETF being denied. I think it's nothing, man. Don't worry about it. It's probably good. It's probably good that it got denied, because guess what? That just means that someone's going to have to work on another ETF, draw it up, and then propose it. There's going to be a new ETF that's proposed in like a month or in 6 months or next year, and that's going to be a reason to send things up, right? Because oh yeah, the ETF's coming, and then that hype is good. But once the ETF itself actually gets passed, once it gets approved, that'll probably be a topping signal. Right? Let's do another one real quick, really quick, right? Having derivatives being able to margin trade, going long and short, right? That has value. That adds speculative value to any asset, right? You're especially from like a trading perspective. If we're looking at Bitcoin, we go to BTC USD, or maybe I should go to longs, BTC longs on Bitfinex, right? Let's go back on the weekly here to when this, maybe on the monthly even, because it's been so long. Let's go back to when this first started, okay? And I know it's gonna be crazy, but this came out in August of 2017, okay? Whenever you were first able to go long or short on Bitcoin on a major exchange. I'm pretty sure it wasn't there weren't any exchanges that did margin trading, like longing or shorting Bitcoin before, at least not major exchanges. Maybe they did, correct me if I'm wrong, please, somebody. But let's see, I think it's the same thing on the shorts. Yeah, August of 2017. Now let's look at Bitcoin. What was it doing in August of 2017? Well, here in August of 2017, it was at the upper ends of the bull market, okay? And actually, the month after that longing and shorting became available, we had the biggest drawback that we've had like on a monthly, and quite maybe not the biggest drawback actually. Let's see what this was. I mean, we closed the month red, but that was a 40% drop there. I think this is another 40% drop. So, but we did see a drop after margin trading became available. And not only that, but 1, 2, 3, 4 months after that is when we saw the top. You know, the hype and all that stuff around then, and I mean, this was just pure mania back then anyways. Like, this was a straight parabolic move. But ultimately, after this margin trading became available, this should have been a signal that we are coming to the end of this rally. And we weren't halfway through the rally when this happened. We weren't at the beginning when this happened. We were definitely in the last quarter, maybe even less than that, like the last fifth of this bull market happened whenever we were able to trade Bitcoin on margin on a very large exchange. That's when it happened. So again, bullish ultimately. It's good for ultimately. Some people have different opinions. Some people might think, you know, margin trading is bad for crypto or bad for any asset. You know, there's arguments to be made to that too, but generally what I'm trying to get at is when new on-ramps and stuff like that get released, it's not a good thing. It's something to be excited about in the long term, but in the short term, it should have you kind of more concerned, or at least be aware. So the fact that the ETF got denied, I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing, honestly. I'm not worried about it. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. If it was a truly bad thing, Bitcoin would be shitting the bed right now, and it's not. And it's not shitting the bed because who cares? Who cares that the ETF got denied? Nobody cares. Nobody at all. The news is going to make it up like this big thing. And I bet, man, that we get some kind of dump. And then, again, show me the charts. I'll tell you the news. I bet we get some kind of dump. I've been saying this since before the ETF rejection came out. We get some kind of dump. People are going to be like, oh, Bitcoin denied. It got its ETF denied. You know, this is going to stifle the bull market. It's not going to go, you know, it's on its way down. The bear market's still in full effect. But then right when those negative news stories come out, when everybody's like so certain that this drop is because of the failed ETF, that's when we'll pump. So whenever you see that, be aware. And in fact, I would even go as far as saying like counter trading the news sometimes can be bullish, or it can be effective, not bullish. But not always. Not always. So I don't trade based off of news at all. I actually have a buddy who works for Bloomberg, and he was doing new stuff. He was trying to get into the analyst side of things, and he was looking up stories, trying to read everything he could about whatever. You know, he wasn't a crypto guy. He's at stocks, and I brought him in one day. I was talking about crypto because he was curious about it. You know, they don't really talk about it too much on the floor at Bloomberg or whatever. At least this was years ago, man. This was back in like 2018. And I show him fibs, and I show him the respect that Bitcoin has with its fibs. And same thing like any of us, that whenever we first see this, we're like, whoa, like this actually is a thing. You can do this. All I have to do is click a tool, and then like a monkey, I just click twice, and it tells me what I need to know. Like, you know, it's not, you don't have to be sophisticated to know this stuff. But let's see here. I was showing him how, you know, from top to bottom here, we went all the way up to the 786. We literally tipped it. We held the 618 as support. Like, look at the respect you're getting on these lines. I was showing him this, and just like whenever I first saw fibs, like it blew his mind. You know, and he went back to his boss. He went back to his boss at Bloomberg, or his superior, whoever it was, showed him how to do fibs, like showed him that he knew how to do this stuff, and he got promoted. My buddy got promoted, or he got taken to like an analyst position immediately. He wrote me or called me and thanked me or whatever, and I'm like, dude, thank yourself. Like, you took it upon yourself to learn it, and that's just what I'm getting at, man, is like he got that position after he learned technical analysis, not after he learned how to do research on the news. Because anybody who actually does technical analysis, or who's a chart analyst who knows about like market analysis, they don't care about the news, man. And when they hear that you don't care about the news and you actually know like something about like technicals, they're like, okay, we're gonna bring you upstairs. And that's literally exactly what happened. I'm not making up a story. Like this is something that actually happened. So just to kind of reiterate the whole point, if I lost anybody, that the news doesn't matter, man. What do I think about this ETF being denied? So what? Like, who cares? It's a fart in the wind. It'll be forgotten about. The next thing will be talked about. China, man. China has banned Bitcoin so many times, and Bitcoin's still alive. ETFs have been denied so many times, and Bitcoin's still alive. It doesn't matter. I think ultimately we will get an ETF. When we do, within like a couple months afterwards, we'll probably go down. That will be like a top signal, be aware. But again, we have, it can take 240 days for the decision to be made, and whether that's good or bad. So when we hear an ETF approval or an ETF proposal, we should think that for the better part of a year, at least half a year, we're going to see some upside, probably, And this ETF proposal came like somewhere down here, right? And for the better part of a half of a year, I mean, from low to top, like up until like this week where we started rejecting it, right? 217 days, we were going up. You know what I mean? So I don't know. And it wasn't up the whole time. We went up, we went down, we went up, we went down. We're going up now. But I think this denial is going to promote the idea that we are going to go lower. And once we go lower, probably around the time that it's like the bottom, the low, the local low, that's when you'll start seeing some negative news articles come out for Bitcoin, and that'll probably be a good time to buy. But I don't base my decisions off of news. I don't care if it's good news or bad news down here, man. I'm going to get into crypto when it goes down here, and I will have a plan based on technical analysis and risk management that, if we get a week that closes below 25.9K, then my bullish perspective changes. That's basically it. It's all about that. And kind of another point that was being made in that whole argument. You don't have to be the best predictor to make money in this game. You can be the worst predictor, but if you have good, like you can be the worst technical analyst in the entire planet. You really could be. You could have the worst luck ever, whatever. I don't care. But if you have good risk management, it's only a matter of time before you see your day, and it's good. If you're the best technical analyst in the world, but you have poor risk management, it's just a matter of time, man, before you see your day, but to the downside. You know what I mean? So it's not so much about being right or wrong. It's not about knowing the information first or like predicting it. Like it helps, that all that stuff helps. That's why we do this, But what it really comes down to is risk management. And that comes in the form of, I'm going to buy here, and I am totally prepared to cut my losses if it breaks this line. And you have to be real with yourself, man. You really have to be real with yourself. If you're in denial, you will miss entire rallies. You'll miss entire cycles. And with Bitcoin Cash, I know it might seem like I was in a little bit of denial here, but I wouldn't call this denial, man. I'm not in denial. I definitely thought it could go higher from here. I didn't really expect that we'd go higher from like 260. I thought 260 would actually be the top, but we actually went higher than that. This isn't denial. That's not the reason I'm not buying. The reason I'm not buying is because it would be irresponsible to buy an asset that, after moving sideways for so long and doing nothing, in a 2-week time frame, it pumped up a total of 263%. They say buy low, sell high. So buy here, sell here, right? It makes sense. I'm not buying here. It has to come down. It has to go low so that I buy low. I don't buy high. You don't, as nice as it would be to buy high and sell high, if you ever buy high and you sell high, there's one of two things going on. One, you're lucky, or maybe not lucky, you're gambling. You're gambling. If you buy high and you're selling higher, I guess you're lucky and you're gambling. But if you buy high and you sell higher on like a blue sky breakout, like breaking breaking this all-time high here for Bitcoin Cash, if it breaks it by a cent and you buy it up here, I think that that's fine. I really think that's fine. Maybe don't go heavy, don't bet the farm, but you could start, like, if you're in denial all the way up until this point and you're like, damn, it broke out to new all-time highs, this is a totally fine place to buy, because that is a breakout zone. You generally don't, whenever you see previous all-time highs, you generally do break through it. And maybe you break through it a little bit and then you come back down, whatever. That'll just give you another chance to buy at the exact same area you bought before, and then it goes higher. I don't know, something like that. Or it'll give you a chance to sell, and this is all hypothetical, so I'm just kind of speaking out of my ass at this moment. But main point of the whole thing, guys, the ETF doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, man. It'll be nice when we have it, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter at all. And how I would combat Mr. Chocolate Cookie, how I would combat the news and like the emotions and all that stuff is like you have to contain it yourself. Basically, that's a hard question to answer, because that's like I feel like a philosophical question that every trader asks themselves. Like how do you do TA properly? How do you battle all the emotions? How do you decipher what's right and what's wrong, or what's true, what's good, what's bad? Because again, an ETF being dropped, that sounds like great news. A crypto being put on the biggest exchange in the world for crypto, that sounds like good news, right? And ultimately, it can be good news. But in the short term, you can see where it's bad news, because it just makes it available for more people to sell, or more people to buy that are being sold on by the big dogs who have been buying it since before it got listed. So it's, the most honest answer I can give is it's just going to take experience, man. And some people are meant for it more than others. Some people are definitely meant for it more than others. I feel like it took me a longer time to learn. Some people learn how to be like a technical analyst, or how to have like good risk management after the first year, within the first year. Most people, it takes 5 years or more. I'm one of those people. You know what I mean? But I've been in this thankfully for longer than 5 years. So I've got the tenacity. I've got the experience to know, like whenever I see moves like this in Bitcoin Cash, whenever I see that we're going up here, I don't care how much I wish I bought this. I'm not buying it now, because that's just poor risk management. It's very, and it can go. And here's the thing with risk management, man. You can be wrong still. You can be wrong. It can turn up from here. I can say I don't want to buy here, and it says F you anyways, and I'm going up. You have to accept that you missed the boat. You just have to. Because if you try, maybe, and I would bet every single time that an opportunity like this comes along, out of 100 opportunities, there will be the ones that don't give any of it back and they just keep going. But that is far and few in between. Most of the time they do come back. And if this just so happens to be the green dragon that got away, man, it's the green dragon that got away from me. It really is, But that's not. But at least at that point, I'm not being risky. At least at that point, I'm not betting everything I have that it will go higher from here. And the thing is you can say, well, it doesn't matter, right? I'm gonna buy up here, and if it goes lower, I don't care if it drops 50%. Like I'm just gonna hold and then buy more. You say that. You can say that, and maybe some of you even would hold to that. I've tried that before. I've tried buying here, but man, whenever you see a dramatic dump like that, you might think, shit, maybe I should sell it, get out, maybe just buy it a little bit lower, try to salvage some money, and then right whenever you get that feeling, that's when it goes up. Just like when you get this feeling like, shit, it's going to go up from here, I should probably buy in case it goes up without me, that's when it goes down, So you learn to identify those emotions, and you learn to kind of just phase out the noise. And that's the real secret, man, to becoming like a technical analyst or a trader. It's not about being right. It's not about being wrong. It's about controlling your emotions, taking that deep breath, and just like having a game plan. You got to have a game plan and stick to it, man. Stick to it. My game plan was from down here. My game plan was wait for a pullback to get in. Well, we're up here now. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting, man. And I feel comfortable doing that. I don't care if the pullback goes back to where I was waiting originally. I don't care if it goes higher than where I was waiting originally. At least now I'm not gambling. At least now I can say like for a certainty that, okay, this was a local low. I can go heavy in it and rest comfortably knowing that it's going to go up. I don't have to worry about it going down and feeling emotional about my position. What is going on here? I don't know. I can't get rid of this line. But yeah, a little bit of a talk today. I hope it was helpful. I hope I wasn't like just raving too much or didn't make sense. I hope that you guys found it informative. I do want to make a video on risk management. I know I kind of went over it a little bit here, but I want to go over I want to do a video on risk management. That's long overdue. I've written some stuff down, and I don't normally write things down. I haven't written anything down for today. I just kind of talk as it comes from me, but I have quite the way of getting distracted. So I want to, when talking about something very important like risk management, I want to have it all like just, down. Like I'll literally be reading a script. I probably won't read a script. I'll go over it so I have an idea of what I want to say. I might have notes or something in front of me, but yeah, man, this is out of the norm for me. I normally don't do this. I normally talk just TA, but this is definitely, I think it's something important, man. And I think anybody who's a trader or an investor, you guys need to be aware of this stuff, man. The news, if you haven't been able to tell by just things that are outside of the market, the news is not your friend. They lie. They lie all the time because the people that are promoting those stories, again, they want you to hear them. They want you to hear them. Why do they want you to hear them? Is it because they want to help you? Or is it because they want you to believe an agenda that's not true or misleading or something that puts them in more power and takes the power away from you? Because in my experience, that's kind of what it is, man. Whatever you get, like literally, we were told that Putin was a power-hungry guy. He was just he was a madman. He's insane. He's crazy. He's like, he doesn't care. He's not. He might be power hungry. Sure. He's a politician. Why not? He might be power hungry. I'm not going to deny that, but he's not stupid. He's not a warmonger. You know what I mean? He went to war with Ukraine because the United States was pushing for Ukraine to join NATO. And this has been a conflict for like the last 30 years, and we've just been pushing the bear, man. We literally pushed right up onto his borders, and he lashed out. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to justify the war or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, I'm using it as an example that the news lies. Anybody who remembers last year, whenever the Russian-Ukraine conflict started, the war, the news in America, it was all about how Putin's just a power-hungry, crazy guy who just doesn't want anything but world domination. And it's like, no, I mean, maybe he'd want to control the world, maybe, but he's not dumb. He's not just going to go warmongering and start a war just for the sake of, like, wanting domination. Like any politician, he would do it tactically. And our politicians are tactically putting him on the offensive and painting him a certain way so that our people, the public, backs up the idea of going to war with Russia. That's my whole thought. I don't know. I don't think war's good either way, man. Ukraine's wrong, Russia's wrong. Like they're both wrong. But we poked the bear first, man. We poked the bear first, and our news would never admit that. And only now a year later is that becoming more of like a narrative that people are like willing to talk about. Before, I remember having this conversation like a year ago, like sometime in like December or October, or maybe it was like this time last year. I don't remember how long ago it was, but I was just like, something doesn't seem right. And I didn't know what it was. I wasn't like supporting that Russia was going to war with Ukraine. Wasn't supporting that Ukraine was going to war with Russia either, though, because I'm like, our government, the media, is promoting this story. They want us to see this. Why? Like, what does that make me want to do? It makes me want to go to war for Ukraine. It makes me want to donate my money to them so that we can help them out. These poor people, you know what I mean? Like it did for a lot of people. Why did they do that? Why did they do that? They got a bunch of money that went to Ukraine that never saw a battle. It never saw daylight, man. Where'd it go? Where'd it all go? They put that money, they put that story out there. Why? Like, why? It wasn't to support Ukraine. It wasn't to support us. Like, that's for damn sure. So I just, anytime I hear something, whenever I'm walking downtown, when I'm walking around the street, and I just hear people talking the same stuff that I hear on the news, and people are talking like they know anything, but they're just reciting the same thing that they've heard. When I hear that, I'm like, okay, so that's clearly a lie. That's not true. This puppet was puppeted perfectly, and then the media got what they wanted. Man, I'm sorry if I went on a tangent here, but I feel like once you learn how to identify that kind of stuff, it becomes easier. And the way to start identifying that kind of stuff, anytime you hear a news story, just ask why. What's the purpose? Like why? Not like from a like a very real standpoint, like, oh well, it's the news, it's the truth, it's facts. They want it to share. No. Like what does this do to me on the inside when I hear it? They want you to hear it. They're promoting it because they want you to hear it. They're not doing it because they want to help you. They're not doing it because they want to help you. They're not doing it because of any other reason than they want you to hear it. So why do they want you to hear it? That's the story you need to ask yourself. Right now, the Bitcoin ETF got denied. Why do they want you to hear it? Probably to sell your bags whenever things start dropping. It's to sell your bags and be convinced that oh, it's going to zero. The bear market is still in full effect. The ETF got denied. Oh no, it's the end of the world. No, it's not that at all. It really isn't that at all. So I hope I didn't lose anybody. I will see how many subscribers I've lost after this video, but this one came at the inspiration of Mr. Chocolate Cookie. So thank you for asking the question, man. I hope I answered it. If I didn't, just leave me a comment, man. We can go back and forth. We can keep doing our thing. But I hope I wasn't too confusing. I hope I'm not I don't sound like a total dunce on this. I hope I didn't offend anybody. Again, man, again with the whole Russia-Ukraine thing. I am not on either side. I'm really not. I think that it's like Donald Trump said, people are dying. I think it's bad that people are dying. I'm in that boat, man. And without getting too political and anything, I think regardless of who poked the bear or what, we're not being told the truth as to what's going on there. The reason why this Ukrainian war conflict started right from the get-go. Look at all the news stories from a year ago and look at the ones today that they're saying. They lied to us, man. They lied to us. And they do it all the time. Not just with that. They do it with crypto and they do it with stocks and stuff too. It's no different here. So what do I have to say about the news, man? Big whoop. Who cares? That's really it. If you like the video, leave a thumbs up. Subscribe to see more. I will catch you guys on the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.